Kindness is often mistaken for weakness, but the strategic mind understands it as a weapon far sharper than any blade. In the battlefield of social interaction, appearances can deceive. The smile that welcomes can conceal calculation. The gentle word can shape allegiance. The world confuses morality with vulnerability, assuming those who give freely are easy to exploit. Yet, history tells a different story. Leaders who wielded charm with precision did not suffer because they were soft. They thrived because they transformed perception into authority. Every gesture, every tone, every carefully measured act of generosity is a move on the board of influence, a calculated strike without bloodshed. Your mind is the command center. Treat it as a throne. Crowning your thoughts allows you to rule over your impulses, ensuring your kindness is intentional, never reactive. The illusion of innocence becomes a shield. What others see as softness, you know as strength. Like rulers who maintained power through calculated appearances, you control the narrative of every encounter. Weak react to every slight. Strong observe, assess, and respond with measured grace. Every interaction is a micro-battle, a disagreement at work, a subtle challenge from a peer, a dismissive remark from a stranger. These are skirmishes in a social war that decides influence and respect. Master the battlefield by maintaining a calm presence. Speak slowly, let your body convey confidence, and allow your strategic silence to unsettle opposition. A calm, assertive response to a colleague's challenge, acknowledging their point, but redirecting focus to solutions, demonstrates command without aggression. You communicate control, disarm tension, and reinforce your position simultaneously. Weak snap at criticism. Strong respond deliberately and with poise. Generosity becomes your weapon when it is selective and strategic. Like a general supplying the right resources to the right units. Give attention, encouragement, and support where it yields loyalty and cooperation. With each act, you train your social environment to respond predictably, aligning others' behavior with your influence. The predator does not chase every target. It strikes only when the moment guarantees success. So too, your kindness must be precise. Weak offer indiscriminate approval. Strong empower selectively to fortify your position. Observe how history's astute leaders blended gentleness with authority. Machiavelli emphasized the value of appearing virtuous while maintaining the freedom to act decisively. You do not reveal your full intent, but every action signals competence, steadiness, and strategic vision. The world reacts not to raw power alone, but to the combination of restraint and decisive influence. Your kindness signals strength, your composure communicates authority, your selective generosity shapes loyalty. Each interaction is a silent maneuver, each word a chess piece moved deliberately toward victory. Internalize this principle. Mastery of influence begins with mastery of self. Control your responses, crown your thoughts, and let your demeanor convey unwavering authority. The enemy is not malice, but complacency and misperception, the tendency to let generosity be mistaken for weakness. Do not surrender your position to impulse. Instead, wield kindness as a precision instrument, a weapon honed through discipline and awareness. Command each encounter with clarity, observe each response with acuity, and calibrate your actions to maximize alignment and respect. Weak, allow every action to be reactive. Strong, engage every moment with intent. In this domain, subtlety is power, restraint is victory, and perception is leverage. When you give, let it be strategic. When you remain silent, let it be commanding. When you act, let it be precise. Influence is not forced. It is cultivated through discipline, presence and selective generosity. Let every smile carry weight, every compliment guide allegiance, every act of kindness fortifies your position. Stand firm on the battlefield of human interaction and wield generosity with the wisdom of a ruler and the precision of a predator. I am kind, yet untouchable. Your mind is the throne from which every action flows, the command center of your influence and authority. To rule effectively, you must crown your thoughts, placing every impulse, emotion, and decision under deliberate control. Chaos within the mind leaks outward, eroding presence, diluting impact, and undermining even the most well-intentioned acts of kindness. Reign over your inner landscape with clarity, assigning loyalty to discipline, obedience to strategic awareness, and vigilance to observation. Each thought is a subject awaiting judgment. Each emotion is a soldier whose allegiance must be earned through conscious choice. Weak, surrender to every reaction. Strong, govern your internal kingdom with precision. Understanding perception is the second pillar of mastery. Your throne exists not only in your mind, but in the court of influence that surrounds it. Every interaction is an audience in which you demonstrate authority, subtlety, and intent. Recognize how others interpret your kindness and calibrate your approach accordingly. Offer encouragement, listen attentively, and extend support, but always with purpose. Strategic generosity is not indiscriminate. It is the distribution of resources where it strengthens loyalty and cultivates alignment. Weak, allow empathy to scatter aimlessly. Strong, deploy attention and support where it consolidates influence. Boundaries are your fortress walls. Generosity without fortification leaves you vulnerable to exploitation. Like a castle whose gates are always open, uncontrolled kindness invites intrusion and drains resources. Define the limits of your attention, your time, and your support, and enforce them consistently. When a colleague challenges your direction or tests your patience, respond with measured calm. A disagreement can be handled firmly yet gracefully. Acknowledge their point, assert your position, and redirect focus to the task at hand. This demonstrates command without aggression, turning potential conflict into a reaffirmation of authority. Weak, react impulsively to opposition. Strong, respond strategically, letting your composure communicate dominance. Every act of kindness is a tactical move on the chessboard of influence. Timing, placement, and intention determine whether it strengthens your position or exposes vulnerability. Like a general surveying a battlefield, anticipate outcomes, predict reactions, and act with precision. Speak deliberately, gesture purposefully, and allow silence to amplify presence. Your throne is secured when others perceive your generosity as an extension of competence and strategic foresight rather than weakness. Weak, give without calculation. Strong, act with foresight and measured intention. Crowning your thoughts, structuring your court, and fortifying boundaries cultivates a mind that commands respect and shapes loyalty. Each moment of restraint, each calculated act of support, and each confident response to challenge reinforces your position. You transform perception, turning apparent gentleness into a subtle yet formidable weapon. Influence flows not from the force of your hand, but from the discipline of your mind and the clarity of your presence. Weak, allow internal chaos to dictate action. Strong, master the mind and let every interaction reflect your sovereignty. Stand firm on the inner battlefield, govern your internal kingdom, and let every thought and action be deliberate. Let your presence signal authority, your generosity convey strategic strength, and your calm enforce respect. The throne you occupy is both literal and symbolic, the seat of your mind, the origin of influence, and the foundation of enduring power. Command it fully, and you transform kindness into an instrument of authority and alignment. I rule from the throne of my mind. The morning is the opening salvo of every day's battle, the decisive hours where influence is established and momentum seized. Begin with ritualized preparation, treating each action as a sharpening of mental weapons. Rising with intention, you align body, mind, and purpose, equipping yourself to command every encounter. A measured routine, exercise, reflection, and focused planning sets the tone, ensuring your energy is concentrated rather than scattered. Weak, drift into the day unprepared. Strong, enter with precision, every movement reinforcing dominance. First impressions of the initial skirmishes of social engagement. Your demeanor, your attention, even small gestures act as reconnaissance and opening maneuvers. A nod of acknowledgement to a colleague, a sincere but measured compliment, a calm response to a casual challenge. These early interactions sway allies, neutralize friction, and establish authority without confrontation. In one instance, when a teammate questioned your proposal during a morning briefing, you maintained calm composure, acknowledged their concern, and refocused the discussion on strategic outcomes, turning potential conflict into alignment. Weak, react emotionally and risk early disadvantage. Strong, assert calm command, using subtle gestures and precise words to shape perception. Energy is the ammunition that fuels influence. The way you carry yourself in the first hours dictates the day's advantage, both mentally and socially. Posture, pace, and tone communicate intent before words are spoken. Walk with purpose, speak with clarity, and allow pauses to magnify presence. Your energy signals to observers whether you are disciplined and in control or reactive and scattered. Harness it deliberately. Every deliberate breath, every controlled motion, every focused thought acts as a tactical deployment of personal force. Weak, allow fatigue or distraction to diminish your presence. Strong, marshal energy to dominate the field subtly but undeniably. Consider your morning a battlefield where time, attention, and interactions are territory to be secured. Strategy dictates preparation, awareness dictates perception, and discipline dictates outcomes. Engage each moment as a commander surveying terrain, anticipating challenges, and asserting influence through composure and calculated action. Ritualized preparation fortifies your mind. Early interactions position allies and neutralize opposition, and controlled energy projects unspoken authority. Weak, neglect these elements and concede initiative to circumstance. Strong, establish control immediately, turning every opening hour into an advantage that compounds throughout the day. Command the opening hours with deliberate precision. Align body, mind, and intent. Treat each encounter as a micro-battle, each interaction as reconnaissance, each moment of energy as ammunition deployed. Let your morning be a demonstration of quiet dominance, a preparation that informs every subsequent move. Cultivate presence, assert authority, and allow subtle acts of kindness to function as instruments of influence, strategically placed to secure loyalty and respect. The early day sets the template. Mastery here dictates the rhythm and advantage of all that follows. I seize the day as my battlefield. Silence is a weapon forged in restraint, a tool as sharp as any blade when wielded with intention. In the battlefield of influence, pausing before action transforms reactive moments into tactical advantage. A hurried response reveals uncertainty. A measured pause signals command. When confronted with dissent, observe quietly, letting the space speak for your authority. Weak, rush to answer and dilute your presence. Strong, harness the power of stillness, letting each deliberate moment shape perception and outcomes. Presence itself becomes a threat when grounded in calm. Enemies and rivals underestimate those who remain quietly observing, scanning for patterns, anticipating moves. Like a predator watching its environment, You radiate confidence through composure, letting others reveal their intentions without exposing your own. Each gesture, each micro-expression is controlled, each interaction calculated. In a team discussion, when a colleague pushed back on a proposed strategy, you maintained steady eye contact, allowed the tension to settle, and responded with a concise, neutral observation that refocused the group. This quiet authority commands attention without aggression and turns resistance into alignment. Weak, respond impulsively to challenges. Strong, let observation and calm presence assert dominance. Stillness draws others like a magnet. Controlled energy makes kindness compelling. A deliberate smile, a carefully chosen word, an intentional pause communicates intent and confidence. Your actions carry weight because they are measured, predictable in their authority, and yet unpredictable in their subtle impact. Weak, scatter energy across unnecessary motions and reactions. Strong, concentrate presence, allowing each act of kindness to signal competence and strategy. Like a general surveying the field, let patience and observation guide your engagement, turning quiet presence into a vector of influence that shapes behavior without coercion. Mastering stillness is mastering influence itself. Each day, cultivate the discipline to observe before acting, to measure each gesture, to project calm in situations that invite haste. Strategic silence makes your moves more potent, your decisions more respected, and your kindness irresistible because it is delivered with intent. Weak, allow external pressures to provoke reaction. Strong, create space, command attention, and assert authority through deliberate action. Stand firm in the unseen tension of quiet dominance. Pause before acting. Let presence convey power. Allow controlled kindness to magnetize respect and loyalty. Your stillness is your battlefield, your patience, the armament that ensures every move carries weight, every interaction advances your influence, and every gesture demonstrates control. Cultivate observation, patience, and precision, transforming the quiet into a force that commands without confrontation. I wield silence as my weapon. To wield kindness as power, you must first eliminate what undermines it. Influence is not absolute. It is fragile when diluted by toxic connections or unchecked behavior. Cut toxic bonds decisively. Even minor betrayals weaken authority and erode loyalty. Machiavelli emphasized the necessity of decisive action against those who undermine your position. Do not hesitate to remove people whose presence diminishes your effectiveness, whether through gossip, envy, or repeated disregard for boundaries. Weak, tolerate undermining behavior and hope it resolves. Strong, act swiftly, severing ties that threaten your sphere of influence. Selecting allies strategically multiplies the power of generosity. True influence grows when your kindness fortifies the loyalty of those who contribute positively to your vision. Invest in relationships that reward reliability, competence, and mutual respect. Observe patterns of behavior and allocate attention and support accordingly. Weak, extend resources indiscriminately. Strong, focus your generosity where it consolidates allegiance and strengthens your position. In practice, this might mean mentoring a trusted colleague while limiting engagement with those who repeatedly fail to uphold shared goals. Each choice strengthens your court and amplifies your authority without confrontation. Silence weak signals and enforce boundaries to maintain subtle authority. Allowing small transgressions, disrespect, or manipulation to go unchecked erodes your influence over time. Like a general inspecting the battlefield, identify behavior that could compromise cohesion or perception of power and address it promptly. Weak, ignore minor breaches and risk escalation. Strong, act decisively, correcting patterns before they become entrenched. A calm, measured intervention in a recurring disagreement, a polite but firm reminder of expectations, demonstrates command without aggression, and reinforces your strategic position. Ruthless elimination is not cruelty, it is discipline. It protects the integrity of your influence and ensures kindness remains a tool, not a vulnerability. Every relationship, interaction, and action should serve the consolidation of your authority and the cultivation of loyalty. Let your generosity reward alignment and your decisive boundaries deter disruption. Weak, allow unchecked behaviors to erode respect. Strong, maintain clarity and consistency, pruning distractions and threats with calculated precision. Stand firm, observe the landscape of your influence, and remove what diminishes your strength. Invest in allies who reinforce your mission, correct minor deviations before they grow, and preserve the potency of your strategic generosity. Every act of elimination is an act of preservation, ensuring that kindness amplifies power rather than inviting exploitation. Command your circle with clarity and restraint, letting your presence and decisions communicate authority. I eliminate weakness to fortify my power. Kindness is most potent when it is cloaked in command, when every gesture and expression communicates authority while concealing intent. Your smile becomes armor, a shield that invites trust while masking the calculated precision behind your actions. Like a general observing the battlefield, you signal approachability without diminishing dominance. Weak, display openness without control. Strong, project warmth strategically, letting cooperation flow while maintaining advantage. Posture reinforces the mask of command. Stand as a throne upon the ground, feet planted, spine straight, shoulders poised. Physical presence speaks before words ever leave your mouth. Combined with measured generosity, posture conveys confidence, strength, and stability. Observers are drawn to authority that feels effortless, yet deliberate. Weak slump or shrink and surrender perception. Strong command space with deliberate stance, letting body language amplify influence. Voice is an instrument of subtle persuasion. Tone, cadence, and volume are tools that reinforce kindness as power. Speak deliberately, letting pauses punctuate key points, letting calm inflections signal control. Your words become chess moves, each carefully positioned to advance cooperation, minimize resistance, and shape perception. In a team discussion, a colleague challenged your recommendation, questioning priorities. You responded with measured tone, acknowledging their perspective, emphasizing alignment with goals, and redirecting focus strategically, demonstrating control while maintaining rapport. Weak, respond in haste or volume, signaling uncertainty. Strong, modulate your voice to assert calm authority, turning conversation into influence. The mask of command is not deception, it is a disciplined presentation. Every gesture, expression, and inflection is intentional, a tactical deployment of psychological influence. Smile with intent, posture with authority, and speak with precision. Each element magnifies the impact of kindness, transforming it from a passive trait into an active instrument of alignment and respect. Weak, underestimate the power of appearance and demeanor. Strong, harness visual and auditory cues to reinforce your presence and subtle authority. Strategically deploy these tools consistently. Let your smile signal trust, while your posture enforces presence. Allow your voice to guide perception, shaping interactions without coercion. The mask of command ensures that your kindness is not mistaken for weakness, that your generosity is recognized as intentional influence, and that your authority is undeniable yet unobtrusive. Each micro-expression, each controlled movement, each measured tone strengthens your position and fortifies your capacity to lead subtly but decisively. I wear command armor. Within every act of kindness, a calculated edge must reside. Cultivate the inner assassin, the strategic force that ensures generosity never becomes vulnerable. Targeted detachment is essential. Be friendly, approachable, and cooperative, yet never naive. Observe emotional vulnerabilities, recognize patterns of dependency or exploitation, and maintain clarity about who benefits from your goodwill. Weak, allow trust to override caution. Strong, engage warmly, but remain vigilant, assessing risk with every interaction. Mental precision transforms subtle observation into decisive action. Like a predator, strike only when opportunity aligns with strategic gain. Your influence is a weapon sharpened by timing, patience, and foresight. Identify moments when support, guidance, or intervention will maximize alignment and loyalty without unnecessary exposure. In a recent project meeting, a colleague attempted to shift credit away from your team's work. You responded with composed acknowledgement, then redirected the conversation toward measurable outcomes and shared goals, asserting authority without confrontation. Weak, react impulsively, risking relationships and reputation. Strong, act with calculated intent, conserving energy for optimal impact. The ethical paradox governs the inner assassin's operation. True influence balances apparent benevolence with uncompromising clarity. Your kindness is genuine, yet framed within strategic purpose. Align generosity with principles, ensuring each action communicates competence and discernment. Weak, give without discernment, leaving yourself open to exploitation. Strong, offer support with intention, signaling both approachability and authority simultaneously. This duality preserves respect, maintains alignment, and ensures influence is both enduring and self-protecting. Every decision, every gesture, every measured response is a calculated move on the social battlefield. Your inner assassin guides perception, maintaining control over the interplay between generosity and authority. Observe, assess, and deploy kindness with precision. Recognize when to step back, when to assert, and when to remain silent. Weak, allow external pressures to provoke reactive behavior. Strong, govern responses with tactical clarity, allowing influence to unfold organically while maintaining dominance. Strategically cultivate detachment, act with precision, and balance benevolence with clarity. Your inner assassin ensures that your kindness amplifies power rather than invites compromise. Engage every interaction as a calculated encounter, reading the landscape of intentions and choosing interventions that reinforce alignment and loyalty. Maintain awareness, assert control subtly, and let every act of generosity reflect both strength and discernment. Your influence becomes a force of precision, disciplined yet invisible, respected yet unobtrusive. I strike with clarity, masked in kindness. Power must be nourished as carefully as a predator tends its territory. Feeding the wolf within you ensures that your influence remains sharp, active, and respected. Invest in potential allies deliberately, offering support and kindness where it cultivates loyalty and reinforces strategic advantage. Observe behavior patterns and commit resources to those who demonstrate reliability, ambition, and alignment with your objectives. Weak, scatter generosity indiscriminately, diluting impact. Strong, allocate attention and rewards with precision, allowing kindness to become a tool that secures allegiance and multiplies influence. Controlled gratitude transforms simple acknowledgement into a tactical instrument. Reward actions that benefit your sphere of influence and remain deliberately neutral toward efforts that do not advance collective goals. This selective reinforcement communicates expectations without verbal instruction, shaping behavior subtly yet decisively. In a project scenario, a teammate who consistently anticipates challenges and delivers solutions receives recognition and additional responsibility, while those who bypass obligations or create friction experience measured detachment. Weak. Reward indiscriminately, fostering entitlement. Strong. Reinforce alignment and competence, using recognition as a strategic vector for influence. Hunger is the lifeblood of enduring power. Complacency erodes influence faster than external opposition. Maintain drive, ambition, and the internal fire that propels action. Like a wolf patrolling its territory, you must continually scan the environment, adapt to changes, and pursue opportunities that expand reach and consolidate authority. Weak. Accept stagnation and allow external circumstances to dictate momentum. Strong. Cultivate perpetual motivation, ensuring that energy, vision, and focus remain sharp. Strategically combine investment, selective reinforcement, and persistent drive to sustain influence. Each act of generosity becomes an instrument of control, each reward a reinforcement of loyalty, and each maintained hunger a safeguard against decline. Observe closely who responds to your support, who thrives under your guidance, and who inadvertently undermines collective objectives. Adjust allocations of attention and resources accordingly, shaping an ecosystem of influence that is self-sustaining, disciplined, and resilient. Let the wolf within you remain fed, agile, and vigilant. Nurture loyalty with intention, reward alignment with precision, and preserve your own ambition without compromise. This triad ensures that your kindness is never mistaken for weakness, that your generosity reinforces authority, and that your influence extends far beyond immediate interactions. Through consistent, calculated care of your internal and external resources, you create a network of respect, obedience, and strategic advantage that grows over time. I feed my wolf to sharpen my influence. Life unfolds like a chessboard, each interaction a move that shifts the balance of influence. Predicting responses is essential. Every act of kindness triggers a cascade of reactions that ripple through your sphere. Anticipate how others will interpret generosity, how they might respond, and what subsequent opportunities or challenges will emerge. Weak. Act impulsively, leaving consequences to chance. Strong. Visualize multiple moves ahead, preparing for both cooperation and resistance. Consider the colleague who consistently seeks guidance. By offering mentorship while subtly setting boundaries, you cultivate loyalty and respect without diminishing authority. Sacrificial pawns illustrate the necessity of calculated concessions. Minor losses or temporary compromises can secure long-term dominance and preserve strategic momentum. Yield small victories when the larger objective demands it, whether that is allowing another to take credit for a minor project or stepping aside in a debate to solidify alignment. Weak. Resist every challenge, exhausting energy and resources. Strong. Select battles deliberately, understanding that minor concessions often pave the way for substantial influence later. Each tactical sacrifice strengthens your position when viewed from the perspective of the endgame. Endgame vision anchors every decision, ensuring that influence compounds rather than dissipates. Focus on ultimate objectives, trust, authority, and sustainable networks of loyalty. Small victories accumulate. A single act of thoughtful kindness can catalyze cooperation, open doors to future collaboration, and reinforce your credibility. Observe how each move affects perception, adjusting strategies to maintain balance between generosity and authority. Weak. Focus on immediate gratification, neglecting the larger picture. Strong. Measure each interaction against long-term influence, allowing incremental gains to compound into unassailable positions. Every decision becomes a strategic calculation, Every gesture, a deliberate move on a complex board. Cultivate foresight, anticipate reactions, and act with precision. Recognize which concessions strengthen alignment and which actions undermine credibility. Monitor the evolving landscape, adapting as needed to maintain control without diminishing kindness or ethical standing. Your moves must be intentional, measured, and always aligned with ultimate goals. Approach life as a chess master. Plan, anticipate, sacrifice, and execute with clarity. Let each act of kindness serve a strategic function, reinforcing loyalty, authority, and influence over time. Through foresight and calculated generosity, you transform ordinary interactions into enduring advantages, establishing a legacy of power grounded in disciplined, ethical mastery. I move with foresight, winning through kindness. Discipline is the forge where influence is tempered, and your mind is the battlefield on which every act of kindness becomes a weapon. Mental conditioning is your first line of strategy. Repetition sharpens resolve, cultivates strategic empathy, and turns instinctive reactions into deliberate, controlled responses. Every morning, train your mind as a warrior trains muscles, rehearsing calmness, precision, and awareness. Weak, allow impulses to dictate behavior, surrendering advantage. Strong, rehearse responses, visualize outcomes, and internalize composure so that generosity becomes purposeful, never chaotic. Controlled emotion converts potential vulnerability into tactical advantage. Speak, act, and gesture with intention. Each display of kindness signals strength, not weakness. When confronted with criticism or provocation, maintain measured responses. Consider a colleague attempting to exploit your patience. You nod, offer acknowledgement, but refrain from overextension, demonstrating calm command without escalation. Weak, react defensively, surrendering authority. Strong, respond with deliberate composure, reinforcing boundaries and subtly signaling mastery over self and environment. Invisible strength underpins persistent influence. Your presence, calm and unwavering, becomes a subtle form of intimidation that communicates competence without aggression. Like a predator in stillness, your energy commands respect before words are necessary. Persistence amplifies impact. Repeated, disciplined actions shape perception over time, cultivating a network attuned to your intentions. Weak, sporadic effort allows influence to dissipate. Strong, maintain consistency, letting quiet resilience dictate outcomes, ensuring that kindness reinforces rather than diminishes authority. Integrate mental conditioning, controlled emotion, and invisible strength into a daily ritual. Begin each day with focused intention, rehearsing scenarios, anticipating reactions, and visualizing measured interventions. Monitor internal responses, refining patience and tactical generosity until each act of kindness is calibrated for maximum effect. Every interaction becomes a deliberate move. Each choice aligns with long-term objectives, transforming subtle influence into an unassailable advantage. Forge mental habits as armor, temper kindness with strategy, and let calm resolve radiate power. Through unwavering discipline, your generosity becomes unstoppable, your influence undeniable, and your authority quietly absolute. I command with patience, striking through discipline. Every move you make projects authority when anchored in disciplined kindness. Perception management is your armor. Let every act of generosity appear effortless, a natural extension of character rather than a calculated maneuver. Others will interpret composure as strength, attentiveness as competence, and benevolence as mastery. Weak perform kindness inconsistently, revealing vulnerability. Strong integrate all prior strategies so your generosity radiates stability. projecting a quiet command that discourages exploitation before it begins. Resilient reputation is the throne on which influence rests. Build a presence that merges respect with loyalty, demonstrating unwavering consistency across interactions. When confronted with criticism or envy, respond with calm precision, maintaining dignity while neutralizing disruption. Consider a colleague attempting to spread rumors. You acknowledge their words without escalation, reinforce trust with key allies, and continue demonstrating durable competence. Weak, retaliate impulsively, destabilizing perception. Strong, sustain composure, letting character silently assert dominance, ensuring long-term loyalty solidifies around you. Strategic immunity ensures no betrayal, insult, or manipulation can penetrate your sphere. Establish boundaries clearly, uphold standards consistently, and calibrate kindness to reinforce authority rather than diminish it. Your reputation becomes a fortress. Every act of generosity doubles as a defensive maneuver, signaling that attempts to undermine you will be ineffective. Weak, allow manipulation to erode confidence. Strong, observe, adjust, and let intentional kindness define interactions, cultivating an environment where trust is earned, loyalty is strategic, and influence remains unassailable. Integrate perception, reputation, and immunity daily. Visualize interactions as a battlefield, each gesture a move advancing long-term advantage. Train responses, maintain invisible strength, and let subtle generosity shape the environment. Influence solidifies when strategy and character are inseparable, allowing kindness to function as both shield and instrument of authority. Small, deliberate actions compound, establishing unshakable presence and commanding respect effortlessly. Master perception, fortify reputation, and cultivate immunity. Through disciplined execution, kindness becomes an impenetrable tool of influence, a quiet force that commands obedience and loyalty without coercion. I am untouchable through disciplined generosity. Every act of kindness, when disciplined and deliberate, becomes a calculated weapon. Mastery arises not from force, but from seamless integration of strategy, presence, and psychological acuity. Life is a battlefield, yet your arsenal is invisible. Your generosity, rituals, posture, and mental precision form a network of influence that moves silently, anticipating responses and shaping outcomes without confrontation. Weak, scatter effort across unrelated acts. Strong, synchronize each move, so mind, body, and subtle action converge into a cohesive system that commands respect without intimidation. Your rituals anchor you, sharpening awareness and composure. Begin each day as if preparing for a campaign. Deliberate routines, train focus, cultivate calm energy, and establish momentum. This invisible throne of consistency signals authority. Your steadiness communicates competence before a single word is spoken. Controlled generosity is not merely benevolence, it is a lever that directs loyalty, reinforces alliances, and shapes perceptions. Consider a team member testing boundaries through passive resistance. You respond with measured acknowledgement, reinforce standards with calm clarity, and continue demonstrating value, converting potential disruption into alignment. Weak, react emotionally, fracturing trust. Strong, act strategically, maintaining a presence that radiates authority without aggression. Physical and psychological presence intertwine. Posture, tone, and expression transmit signals that preempt conflict and influence behavior. Smile as armor, speak deliberately, carry composure as a shield. Every interaction becomes a chess move, positioning you to gain leverage through subtle observation and timing. Sacrificial concessions are permitted when they secure broader advantage. Small gestures consolidate loyalty while advancing long-term objectives. Hunger drives execution. Complacency is your true adversary. Maintain ambition, invest selectively in those who align with your vision, and cultivate patience so that each move compounds influence over time. The predator mindset is essential. Friendly, yet vigilant. Mental precision guides actions. Generosity is directed, not dispersed. Recognize emotional cues without exploitation. Harness strategic detachment and balance apparent benevolence with unflinching clarity. Weak, allow sentiment to erode judgment. Strong, maintain equilibrium, letting calculated kindness disarm while authority remains unshakable. Influence becomes inseparable from character, reputation fortifies every gesture, and boundaries remain respected implicitly, creating an environment where loyalty and respect are automatic. At the apex, all systems converge. Mind, rituals, presence, and selective generosity operate as one mechanism. Your influence flows like a current beneath the surface, imperceptible yet undeniable. Every gesture reinforces perception management. Your kindness is authority, your patience a fortress, your consistency a throne. Those around you respond instinctively, recognizing mastery without needing explicit power plays. Weak, fragment strategies allow visibility of inner uncertainty. Strong, embody integration so that effortlessness masks strategic control. Loyalty accrues naturally, and respect is assumed rather than demanded. Command your mental discipline, refine your rituals, sharpen presence, and deploy kindness with precision. Align every action to long-term influence, letting psychological mastery dictate outcomes. Become the individual who smiles, moves unseen, and shapes the environment with calm authority. The final form is not flashy, it is quiet, unassailable, and magnetic. Your sphere of influence is impregnable, because strategy and character are fused. You are the apex predator who leads without confrontation, cultivates loyalty without coercion, and commands respect through the seamless application of disciplined generosity. Master kindness, command power silently. Every day you must assume sovereignty over your mind and actions. Treat each morning as a council of war, where your rituals, mental discipline, and measured generosity are sharpened into precise instruments. Weak, drift aimlessly, giving without thought. Strong, structure your hours, your interactions, and your focus so that each act of kindness strengthens your influence and reinforces boundaries. Commit to daily practice. Repetition embeds strategy into instinct, transforming your responses into automatic, controlled power moves that disarm without aggression. Visualize each interaction as a battlefield, every conversation a tactical maneuver. Your posture, tone, and timing signal authority before words even register. Recognize patterns in others' behavior and anticipate reactions, preparing several moves ahead. Small gestures become calculated placements on the chessboard of influence, building loyalty and respect that compound silently over time. Weak, react impulsively to slights or flattery. Strong, maintain composure, letting each exchange reinforce your invisible presence and strategic control. Selectivity governs generosity. Invest in those whose alignment with your objectives strengthens your sphere. Reward actions that advance your vision. Disregard inconsequential or counterproductive behaviors without hesitation. This controlled reciprocity ensures that kindness is never a liability, but a precise lever of influence. When faced with disagreement or subtle challenge, respond with calm clarity, redirecting the energy toward cooperation rather than conflict. Maintain patience. The predator who waits and calculates commands the field more efficiently than the one who strikes impulsively. Internalize your mantra, I am kind yet untouchable. I give yet I command. Let it guide posture, speech, and decision-making. Each morning, affirm your control over mind and circumstance. Each conversation, calibrate your words to maximize subtle impact while preserving integrity. Each act of generosity, let it reinforce authority rather than diminish it. Daily sovereignty is not ceremonial. It is a continuous exercise in presence, discipline, and tactical foresight. Master your battlefield, not with force but with clarity and consistency. Your influence expands invisibly as respect, loyalty, and compliance align naturally with your demonstrated stability and insight. Command your time, your energy, and your generosity with deliberate intent, and others will respond to the structure and authority you embody. The apex of subtle power is not seen in overt domination, but in the seamless integration of kindness, discipline, and strategic foresight. I am kind, yet untouchable. I give, yet I command.